Yo, yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to the freedom marchers, freedom lovers, freedom family, freedom fighters on this Saturday morning. Salute to y'all. Hitting y'all upside with this Saturday edition of the morning paper. And we're going to get into the asininity of the status YouTubers. We're going to get into that in regards to this Charlie Kirk situation. Yes, we're talking about Charlie Kirk again. So if you don't want to hear about Charlie Kirk, don't even stick around. And in reality, this is not really about Charlie Kirk, okay? This is about pushing the mainstream Mockingbird media narrative. Salute to Shad Killings in the building. Salute, Shad Killings. This is about towing the line for government controllers when you're supposed to be an independent content creator. You're supposed to be an independent media source. Okay? This is about people in the YouTube space, right? Pushing this agenda, pushing this hard line, trying to get us to buy into the FBI narrative, right? They want us to buy the FBI narrative in regards to the Charlie Kirk situation. These are the same individuals that called the FBI liars when it came to January 6th. Oh, well, it's a different FBI head. Oh, it's not the same FBI from January 6th as it is today. Oh, they're not the same. They're different. Now we are supposed to believe the FBI, right? An FBI that is part of a government that lies to us on a daily basis. They lie to us. They extort us by force, by coercion, right? These are the same individuals that will tell you they believe in freedom. But then at the same time, they tell you they believe in man-made law and order. Man-made law and order. These are the same individuals that believe the elite few in Washington have the right to dictate how we're supposed to live our lives, how much money they extract from us, where our money goes, what rules and edicts we're supposed to follow to make things convenient for them. These are the same people, these so-called independent content creators that used the COVID-19 pandemic as a springboard to push their message of independence of speech, independence of thought, and critical thinking. Now they're towing the line. I'm muted. Can you guys hear me? Put a Romeo, Lima, and a Charlie in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay, for sure. I'm not muted. You might want to check your volume. Thank you. Now, these same individuals are pushing the FBI narrative harder than mainstream media. See, Operation Mockingbird, if you guys aren't familiar with that, go look that up. That is a real conspiracy, right? That was a real conspiracy performed by our United States government, right? By the CIA. The CIA ran Operation Mockingbird. That is a real thing. It was a conspiracy to push propaganda onto the people using mainstream media. It has evolved. Okay. Now, Alex, you have Everyday in Live. You yap. I yap for pennies. Okay, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, sure. I'm not making a whole lot of money on YouTube. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm making pennies on YouTube. So what? That I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been doing this since 2019. I have been on YouTube since 2019 and just got monetized a few months ago. So if you think I'm doing this for money, go ahead and believe what you want. Yes, but I did get monetized because spreading the message of independent thought and freedom, spreading the message and helping people come to a realization that self-governance is paramount to the governance that we live under today, it takes something, right? To send the message out further, it takes something. It takes time and it takes energy, right? But anyway, yeah, I'm doing this for pennies. Sure, why not? I go live every day for pennies. If that's what you want to believe, then that's what we'll roll with. Anyway, now, here's the thing about these content creators. And I will use one thing as an example in regards to this Charlie Kirk thing. And it has to do with the autopsy that was performed on Charlie Kirk, or not performed on Charlie Kirk. And to give you a spoiler, no one, and I mean no one, that is coming to you guys to tell you anything about this whole situation has access to this autopsy report. Let's just start right there. I don't have access to the autopsy report. The autopsy report is not out there. Now, there was something on X that was supposed to be excerpts from the autopsy, but even then with that autopsy, with the quotes from that autopsy, the excerpts, it shows what many people that don't believe the FBI believe, that he was shot here and it came out here. Even that cannot be substantiated at this point in time. No one has access. No one that's coming to y'all telling y'all that they have this information. Oh, the autopsy explained and all this bullshit. They don't have access to the motherfucking autopsy. So when they tell you, and you'll see this from a content creator, I'm not going to say his name, right? He said, I looked at it this morning, autopsy explained by mortician. This is how they do shit. It's called framing, right? So in the title of this individual's video, he tells you the autopsy is explained by an actual mortician. So he's interviewing this mortician, right? And I'm waiting to hear her talk about and explain the autopsy. You can explain the autopsy. That is what they told us. That's what your interviewer told us. But guess what? She don't have access to the motherfucking autopsy. She can't explain the autopsy because she does not have the autopsy report. What she's telling you is that, in her opinion, there was an autopsy done because in the state of Utah, someone who is killed in the manner of Charlie Kirk, by law, has to have an autopsy report performed on them. But here he is telling y'all that the autopsy is explained by this mortician. Release Derek Chauvin. Yeah, we ran Project Mockingbird, but it's not what you think it is. Oh, it's not. Tell me what Mockingbird, Operation Mockingbird is. Anyway, so think about this. This is a guy who believes the FBI narrative, right? He dismisses any information to the contrary that comes from other YouTubers, right? And then he brings this mortician to you. And this mortician is a YouTuber, right? And it just so happened that the day before, I watched her video. And all she's doing is telling people that this so-called dispatch call between these cops that said, oh, there was no autopsy done. She's saying that's fake. Oh, and there must be an autopsy. But she can't confirm or verify this. It's like I told you guys before. Morticians they don't do autopsies. You're absolutely right. Coroners and whatnot, or medical examiners, right? They do autopsies. Someone said they thought they didn't do an autopsy. Well, guess what? No one knows for sure, right? The law of Utah says an autopsy must be performed, but how do we know that actually happened? Telling people, oh, it's required by law. That doesn't prove anything. All you're saying is that they should have done it. That's all you're saying. You believe hologram, aka Blue Beam? Who knows? I wasn't there. You weren't there when Charlie Kirk was murdered. A lot of things don't add up. But at the end of the day, guess what? What I believe happened to Charlie Kirk and why it happened to Charlie Kirk has nothing to do with the FBI report or what the FBI is telling you, right? And it's for various reasons that actually make sense. It lines up logically. The FBI is telling us does not make logical sense. Now, this guy tells you, yeah, this mortician explains the autopsy, but she doesn't explain the autopsy at all. So how are you telling people that, I'm getting a little warm in here. How are you telling people that this chick is going to explain the autopsy and she doesn't have access to the autopsy? It was all videotaped and live streamed? Sure, but then how do you explain video footage from one angle that shows a chair falling through the table? Salute to that sent a gift. Thank you. You know, listen, there's video out there, but here's the crucial component that is not being shown to us. Here's the crucial video that they have not released. And what they're saying is true about Tyler Robinson being the person to take out Charlie Kirk. There is one video they could show that could lean toward validating their narrative. And that is the video of Tyler Robinson firing the shot, showing a timestamp that lines up with the time that Charlie Kirk was hit, or whatever frames per second you need to spread between the firing of the shot. Because understand that sound travels faster than whatever the fuck, right? Or no, the round would have traveled faster than the speed of the sound, right? So then you have to factor all those things in. BSC was shot from behind. I believe it was shot from behind. What I've seen that no one has disproven as of this to this day, and when they go to debunk Range Day's video, they don't talk about this one aspect of that video. They don't talk about it. They don't even want to touch on it because guess what? It will be a waste. The whole thing about trying to debunk this idea that Charlie Kirk was shot from behind, not with a 30-06, it would completely destroy their narrative. And that is when you see Charlie Kirk's skin on being pierced from the outside, from the inside out in this direction in the video, clear as day. But when they debunk it, they don't ever show that. They don't ever talk about it. They talk about everything else. Dude with the camera gun, who didn't even take any pictures, just walks backwards and disappears. Say what? Camera gun? Why did he jerk backwards? He didn't jerk backwards. He jerked up like that and then fell to the left. Salute to Mind and Mansa Musa in the building. Yes, freedom ain't free, bro. Absolutely not. Charlie Kirk did not jerk backwards. He jerked up and fell to the left. What is this jerk? Anyway, whatever. So no one has, and the point of this video is that nobody has access to any other information to prove anything. You know what I'm saying? They're just telling you they do, right? Just like another content creator who used to be a cop. Used to be a cop. He used to work for the Tucson, Arizona Police Department. Brandon Tatum tells you guys he shares something where a detective is talking about the case. And he said, look, it's coming from a detective. Okay, we're just supposed to believe the detective because he's a detective. But this detective does not have any information to prove what he's saying, to prove that FBI is not full of shit. He has no proof. He's just telling us based on his opinion because he was a cop. You like Brandon Tatum overall? Cool, you can like Brandon Tatum. The bottom line is, salute to Brother Shelton in Black Spring Autumn in the building. Salute to you. Yes, please pick up a copy of The Seeds of Dark Matter Disease in Amazon right now. Autumn dropped the link. Yes, the Coon Tatum. Yes, Brother Shelton. So, Brandon Tatum, of course, is pushing the FBI narrative. He wants you to believe that. He tells you that any logical person would believe the FBI narrative. That's what he tells you. Even though the FBI narrative makes no motherfucking sense whatsoever. Okay. That's what he wants you to believe. And then he puts this, he shares this detective bullshit. Oh, look, it's a detective. He said this, that, and the third. You should listen to him because he's a detective. But the detective is not going to provide you with any receipts to prove that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. The FBI has not proven it yet. That no one has gone to trial. There has been no discovery. There has not been any releasing of any evidence that points to him, except for what the FBI told you they have. Well, guess what? The FBI has the burden of proof to pin that shit on Tyler Robinson. But here comes these content creators that have already convicted Tyler Robinson in court of public opinion. And they don't have shit. The FBI hasn't given them shit. But what they're going to tell you is that the narrative that the FBI is pushing onto you is the logical one simply because it's what the FBI said. They're going to tell you, oh, well, the 30-06, they can't explain the 30-06 not doing the amount of damage it should do at 140 meters. What they're going to tell you, oh, well, it traveled downward. Because that's why you didn't see the exit wound come out the back of Charlie Kirk. Because their idea is he was shot here. Okay. Oh, well, the bullet traveled down, hit his spine, exploded, and went through his heart and all this bullshit and came out his neck. What? Why is it? What the fuck are you talking about? There's no exit wound. That's what they're telling you, because it went down, hit his spine, and it doesn't make any sense. The round would not have been able to travel directly downward into his neck where it entered into his neck. This is their explanation as to why we don't see an exit wound for that 30-06 round that Charlie Kirk was allegedly hit with. He could not have been hit with a round that went direct downward enough to do all the things they said it did to explain no exit wound. Then you got the whole magical steel neck bullshit that they tried to tell you. None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. Turning Point USA, the FBI, they're selling you a line of bullshit because they can't really prove that Tyler Robinson did this. Not yet. They don't have enough. So the whole problem that they have to solve is, how do we convince people? Because we already told people he was shot with a 30-06. Ain't there bullets that don't exit? It depends on the size of the round. So crucial, ASMR. It depends on the round. Some rounds, it doesn't matter if it's hollow tip or not. It's still going to have an exit wound simply because of the size of the round, right? And the velocity at which it travels and the length of the barrel. It doesn't matter if it's hollow tip or not for some rounds. Now, was a hollow tip round used? Did the FBI say that? Did they release any information that showed what type of round was used, right? They said it was a 30-06. Was it a soft tip? Was it a green tip? Was it a full metal jacket? Was it a boat tail? Does anybody have that information? So it doesn't matter really, because these rounds, you need a certain amount of flesh, right, to make it expand wide enough to not exit And even if it does spread out, it's still probably going to exit simply because it's a high-powered round. High-powered, right? It needs to hit something to expand, and it has to hit something significant, right? These are rounds they use on large animals that weigh upward to 1,000 or more pounds, with bone densities many times larger or many times denser than the human bone, let alone a neck vertebrae of a human being. And Charlie Kirk was not a bodybuilder. He did not have this big old swole neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a skinny dude. So we're supposed to believe that his neck vertebrae stopped this round and the round just stopped beneath the skin. No one has any information to go against it. No one has it. This is why I'm coming to y'all about this. The ripple effect. You're talking about the temporary cavity that the round creates? Yeah. Well, see, that's why Charlie's neck swole up upon impact. It swole up because of that temporary cavity. He definitely got hit with a round in the neck. For sure, for sure. And you can see his neck expand due to the force created by that temporary cavity spreading his flesh out. Yeah, he definitely got hit in the neck. That round went through his neck. It did not go down and hit his spine. First of all, because his chin would have been in the way, right? It would have had to go through his chin. If the round came directly from above and went down, like they're trying to say it did, then it probably would have went through his cheek, or went through his cheek, or went through his chin, right? It's bullshit. That's the bottom line to it. The whole idea that the round traveled down, and then you have the easy up tent, right? It doesn't make sense. Charlie Kirk was sitting back from that front edge of the tent. He wasn't at the front edge of the tent. He was back. So the roof of that tent would have obstructed the view. And where that roof is, 140 meters away, it would not have been a shot that would have went directly down. Not enough for it to do what Alex Jones is saying it did. The magical bullet that all of a sudden, when it hits the flesh, it just travels downward. Bullshit. Mind Mansa Musa says, the world is a stage and we in a movie that we didn't ask to be in, and it's all an illusion. Facts. Charlie Kirk is still alive. I don't know about that. Bro, do you know where the bones of the chin are located? Sound low. Do I know where the bones of... What are you talking about? You calling me low IQ and you asking a stupid ass question? Bro, do you know where the bones of the chin are located? This can't be real life. This can't be real life. I'm I'm not even going to attempt to even answer that. That's ridiculous. It could be possible they did Charlie like the movie The Count of Monte Cristo. I have not seen that movie, but maybe I'll check it out. Tandy says, hey, calm down, it's just speech to text. I'm calm. I'm just flabbergasted by the question. Do I know where the chins of the bone are located? And then you call me low IQ. I mean, sometimes stupid questions can be asked. You know how they tell you there is no such thing as a stupid question? No, there are such things as stupid questions. Yeah, we probably will never know. And the point of me doing this is that no one knows. No one knows. They're coming out, and these people, they're telling you that they know these things, that you should just listen to me because I'm a mortician. You should listen to me because I'm a detective. And being a detective, I know what I'm talking about, right? This has to be the case because the FBI said it, right? Richard Grissom says I'm black, so what does that do anything? And what about the blood spiders that got on everybody else and didn't see no blood spatter? The romance novel text threw me off. Yeah, it was stupid. Those texts that they released from Tyler Robinson to his roommate. Oh, look under the keyboard. You will see a note. And then the note says, I had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, so I did. It's really? You left a note for your roommate to find, your room lover, or whatever the fuck they're calling them. Your roommate, lover, trainee, furry person found this note under your keyboard. But then you tell your roommate, I wanted to keep this secret to the grave. And it's stupid. And they want us to believe this silly, stupid ass shit. Did they do an autopsy? I have no idea. What they're telling us is that in the state of Utah, by law, an autopsy should have been done. And the family has no right to tell them that they don't want an autopsy. But I have no idea if an autopsy was done. And that's what I'm here to tell y'all. No one knows enough to tell you anything definitively. Yes, I saw the stupid anti-ice bullet. Yeah, I talked about that with Black Spring with Autumn last week. Results closed. So someone says they did an autopsy. Lisa Baver, do you have that autopsy report? Is the autopsy report out? I'm nobody special, just a combat vet. Tandy, what's the point of that question? What's the point of that? I'm a veteran as well. What's the point of that? What's the point of stating that? I'm also a veteran. What were you the one that said some silly shit about the chin bones? Do you know where the face is? The face is above the head, is above the neck. Right? The head is above the neck. The chin bones are right here. And where is the chin bone? Above the neck. Where Charlie Kirk was shot was right here. If they're saying that's the entry wound. They're telling you that the round was basically the trajectory of the round was going down. It entered into him and went down, hit his spine, exploded. The round exploded when it hit Charlie Kirk's spine. And then there was a shrapnel that spread out and went through his heart. In order for the round to have gone down directly downward, and Charlie Kirk's chin is right here, yes, it would have to go through here to go down. As opposed to if the shot was at a certain angle, maybe 15 degrees from this direction, traveling somewhat downward at an angle, not directly. It would go through here. A round like that is not going to hit bone and start bouncing around. It's not going to do it. Not a 30-06 round at 140 meters. So this going here is not directly downward. Directly is here. They did an autopsy. Prove it. Mr. T says they have rounds that can tumble. What kind of 30-06 round tumbles at 140 meters when hitting a little tiny human neck and a spinal column of a human being? On top of that, what kind of round was used to kill Charlie Kirk? Do you have that information? Does anybody have that information? Does anybody? Can anybody point me to where I can find that information? Have they released the type of 30-06 round? Did they say if it was a hollow tip? Did they say if it was a green tip? Did they say if it was a soft tip? Did they say if it was an FMJ? The rounds that can tumble. What does that have to do with what Charlie Kirk got shot with? I want us to really think about what we're saying before, like, real, honestly. And what you want to say? He wasn't shot with that weapon? No, that is what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't believe he was shot with a 30-06 because it doesn't add up. The physics don't add up for it to being a 30-06 at 140 rounds or 400 meters, 140 meters. Can anybody show? Because I've seen Harold Fuchs says he was shot from behind of his right side. I've seen something that, in my opinion, I believe definitively points to him having been shot from the right-hand side behind his head and exit through the front left of his neck. I have yet to see anything that discounts that. So that is what I believe. Someone says they think Israel did it. I think it's highly possible that Israel could have had something to do with it. He was shot in his neck. That shit was obviously AI bozo. Only 30-06 would never exit. Only 30-06 that never have. Yeah. I don't think it was a 30-06. It was his necklace, not blood. Who mentioned anything about a necklace or blood? Unless you're talking to somebody in the chat. If you talk to somebody in the chat, it's all good. You think the exit wound was clearly on the back or side? Where did you see that? Where did you see an exit wound coming out his back or his side? They told y'all that it was no exit wound. They told y'all that Charlie Kirk's bone of steel stopped the 30-06 round from exiting. That's what they told y'all. But you're telling me there's an exit wound in his back? Vanessa 40 says, a friend of mine, a vascular surgeon, confirmed to me that his blood wouldn't ever drip or drain like that because his heart was still pumping. Right, Vanessa 40. I mean, yeah. The blood did come out in spurts. Yeah, it pumped out. But then you got arterial blood, and then you got arterial blood. That they do different things. Why are we not talking about how many kids die every year instead of this random podcaster? Well, I've talked about the number of kids that are killed and trafficked. I've talked about that before. I've talked about the number of children that were killed in Gaza. I talk about a lot of different things on my channel. Mama Bear says this dude fried. Who you talking about? You talking about me? If that's what you want to say. Tandy said nothing. It would go through and explode. What would go through and explode? Explode? Oh, man. Goodness gracious alive. You talking about the round would explode. No, none of y'all know. None of y'all have any information to say these things. No one has given you any definitive information to say that there was an exit wound. No one gave you any information. No one has shown you an autopsy report. No one has showed you the video of Tyler Robinson taking the shot. No one has shown you the video from the camera from behind him or the front of him. Those high resolution cameras, those expensive high-end cameras. No one's showing you any of that. No one. Haven Williams asked if I was prior military. Yes. I believe there's a cover-up. This is what I believe based on information that I've stumbled across. I don't believe it was a 30-06. I don't believe it was a 380. I don't believe any of that. What makes most sense to me is that it was a smaller caliber rifle round. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a subsonic round. Someone said he's fucking dead, leave him alone. No, I'm not going to leave it alone, because this death and how it's being covered and how the FBI are handling it is very important. If you can't see why, then that makes it sad for you. I feel bad for you if you don't understand why this is important. And I've explained it many times before, because like Charlie Kirk or don't like Charlie Kirk, if they can take out Charlie Kirk and blame it on someone who had nothing to do with it, because they have an agenda, right? They wanted to silence a voice. If they did that to Charlie Kirk, the best friend of the president, the one that helped him get in office, right? Such a highly prolific figure, very divisive, very controversial figure. And then they can take out any leader that speaks out against the power structure in any manner. If they feel like you are heading in a direction where you can cause them some damage because you have such a huge voice, and they take you out, and they can convince you guys that he was killed by a group leader, then we got a problem. Because everybody likes to use Occam's razor. Okay, let's use Occam's razor. Let's look it up first. We're going to have an understanding, because people will tell you about Occam's razor and all these different fucking razors, right? But they don't really know how to apply it, right? Let's look at Occam's razor. Let's see. Occam's razor. Occam's razor, also known as the law of parsimony, is a philosophical principle. Not a scientific one, by the way. This is a philosophical principle, not a scientific one. Okay? So not everything has to be a conspiracy man. We're going to get into that. I'm going to talk about Dark Grabba. Because what happened to Charlie Kirk, right? What happened to Charlie Kirk, there are two possibilities. Both of them involve conspiracies against Charlie Kirk. In this case, there was a conspiracy. Doesn't matter if everything is not a conspiracy. In this case, it was. Whether you believe the FBI narrative or whether you believe the Israel angle, right? Or completely something else. It might not be either one of those. We have no idea. But a conspiracy, you guys overcomplicate what a conspiracy is. And you guys are using the terms the CIA created to discredit people that are trying to get you guys to look at things from a different angle and not just believe what you're told by your government. But okay, the government that lies to you at every chance, at every turn, they fucking lie to you. Okay. Anyway, Occam's razor is a rule of thumb to help identify the most likely hypothesis, but it doesn't prove or disprove anything. That's what we have to understand about Occam's razor. The principle states that when comparing competing explanations, the one with the fewest assumptions is generally the most accurate. The more assumptions required, the less likely the explanation. Which scenario has the most assumptions? What has the most? The furry fascinated tranny terracell loving guy that they say fired a round from a rifle that does not match how Charlie Kirk was shot. It doesn't add up. Nothing adds up about what they're telling you. You have to make so many assumptions. In order for you to make the size of the round fit what happened to Charlie Kirk, you have to come up with these wild scenarios. Like the bullet traveled down when it entered Charlie Kirk's body, hit his spine, and exploded. These are a lot of assumptions that aren't based on facts or any evidence. Then you have to believe that Charlie Kirk has it has bones made of steel, and that a miracle occurred that prevented the round from exiting and hitting someone behind him. So that's another assumption, right? Then you have to believe that Tyler Robinson jumped off the roof with no weapon, even though they don't show you him firing the weapon. They don't show you that. So that's another assumption you have to make, is that Tyler Robinson fired around in the first place. Why is it an assumption? Because they didn't show you any video of Tyler Robinson firing around. So you have to assume he did because they told you. So that's another assumption. There are so many assumptions in regards to Tyler Robinson. And then you have to assume that Tyler Robinson is stupid enough to send text messages to his tranny lover and left a note, but then told him, yeah, I wanted to keep this secret. Then he's explaining to this lover how he has to wait for the cops to leave, and then I'm going to go pick up the weapon, and then I'm going to get the car. There are a lot of assumptions that we have to create to believe this scenario, that people are just, they have to explain it, but they're all assumptions. Whereas if you assume the other direction, well, from what I've seen in the video, it looks like this was the exit because of how, when you slow down the video, you can see that his skin is being pierced from the outside, from the inside out. You can actually see his skin being pulled away. And then boom, right? That's not an assumption. That's what the video shows. Okay, well, what makes sense is that he got shot from back here. So that's not even an assumption. So what else do you have to assume? Well, that's it. You have to assume, okay, he was shot from this direction, from a completely different direction than where they told you Tyler Robinson shot from. So the only assumption you're really making is that Tyler Robinson didn't fire that shot. That is one assumption that I have to believe to say that that Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk. But in order to believe that Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk, you have to make all these assumptions that no one can back up with any facts at all whatsoever. So, which scenario has the least amount of assumptions? The one where Charlie Kirk was shot from back here and it exited out this way, which I could clearly see. I could clearly see his skin being pulled away as the round is exiting from his fucking neck. Unless it was a doctor video, unless AI trick. So now that's another assumption we got to make to point towards Tyler Robinson again. That the video that I saw was doctored. That's an assumption that goes towards Tyler Robinson possibly being the killer. There goes another assumption. Someone says, joke, no, you couldn't, bro. Stop saying whatever. What are you talking about? Y'all are ridiculous. Hanlon's razor stopped the Optimu. What are you talking about? Now you want to add another razor. Yes, Anarchy Television. Israel is not an ally. It is the daddy. Israel is the daddy of the United States. It's our pimp that we give $3.8 billion a year that we know of. I can guarantee you Israel gets way more than $3.8 billion a year from the United States. Well, I can't guarantee it, but Octologic Smith says, salute to Octologic. Your adding words is just a simplest explanation is the most valid. I'm not adding words. I read it right from the, are you talking about the definition of Occam's razor? No, I read it from this. I didn't do that. I didn't add the words. I read it directly from the fucking internet. Octologic Smith, beautiful though you are. Because see, the simplest explanation can be bullshit. The simplest explanation can be full of assumptions that aren't backed by facts. Vanessa 40 says, I know for a fact, not Ferratu. Stephen Smith says, you're stupid. Well, smarten me up then. Give me an education to smarten me up so that I can be as smart as you, so I can stop being stupid. I think it's weird that they had no paramedics. Yeah, no, they didn't have. I didn't see no paramedic, and I covered that day. I had a problem with how they handled Charlie Kirk after he was shot. Right? Not only that, but all the bullshit going around where they're taking down cameras or doing all this bullshit that they should not be doing. Right? Tampering with evidence, like, it's like, you ever see those stage plays where they have to change scenes? They got to go from one location to another. When they end the scene, they some grips and all these motherfuckers come out, start taking furniture out and start taking shit down and moving shit around and taking shit out. And then they come back and they replace it with the other scene and all that. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like the end of a scene in the stage play where, okay, Charlie Kirk shot. Everybody move in, start taking shit away. Because it's a fake wound is bullshit. What's a fake wound? There goes another assumption. No yellow caution tape, bad directions, poor stage management. Yeah. It looked like a stage play where a scene ended and then everybody started scrambling out. Oh, we got to change location. We're moving from the kitchen to the living room. Stu Peters lays out what happened. Who's Stu Peters? Lays out what happens? So Stu Peters has all the information? Does Stu Peters have all the information to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that what he's laying out? Because you have all manner of experts. You got ballistic experts, you got snipers, you got these people, that people. They're saying all these things, right? A lot of them agree. Some of them don't agree. Do you know why no one's agreeing on anything? Why there isn't one scenario that everybody believes? Because we don't have all the fucking facts. It's just simple as that. We don't have all of them. We do not have enough facts to make a definitive determination of who killed Charlie Kirk. We just don't. No side does. So let me explain what a conspiracy is. Since they have convinced you that conspiracies are this grand thing that only happens once every 1 million years or some bullshit. Don't feed the yayo Yao Guai. Salute to Don't Feed the Yao Guai with that $2 super chat. He says Trump had Kirk killed for talking about Epstein. Possible. I don't know. Someone asked if I'm trans. No. Well, so anyway, conspiracy. Let's look up the word conspiracy. Now, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. That's all it is. So if Tyler Robinson, because they're saying that he had 20 people that had prior knowledge, right? That put out those texts and messages that said, oh, on the 10th, Charlie Kirk gonna get this and get that, right? So they're saying that Tyler Robinson and a band of tranny terror cells, individuals, got together to plot the death of Charlie Kirk. A group. That's what a conspiracy is. It's very simple. It's a plot. It's a plan. It's a ploy or a scheme. Is a secret plan, an agreement between people for an unlawful or harmful purpose, such as murder, treason, corruption, especially with a political motivation, while keeping their agreement secret from the public. Yeah, it's a simple thing. Yeah, it's so simple I had to Google it. Yeah. Yeah, conspiracy, that's what it is. It's simple. That's all. No need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Yes, you need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So when Tyler Robinson goes to court, has his day or days in court, they have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he killed Charlie Kirk. That hasn't even happened yet. That hasn't happened yet. So guess what? No one fucking knows who killed Charlie Kirk. Period. No one knows why he was killed at all whatsoever. Oh, what country am I from? Belarus. He admitted it. He admitted to it, jackass. No, he didn't. They told you he admitted it. But guess what? They said he was uncooperative. Remember that? When the FBI snatched him up, they said he was uncooperative. Yeah, how about that? That means that he did not confess. Cover-ups by Kash Patel is not just Kash Patel. Kash Patel is a bit player. Y'all think these people that they put in front of you are really in control of anything, then, you know, you're sadly mistaken. You don't think Tyler Robinson will make it to court? He might not. And he might. Never know. And then guess what? We might never see the trial. It might not be an open trial, even though the judge said it would be an open trial. Something might happen to make it a closed trial. I have no idea. And the apparently the trans girlfriend or whatever the fuck that thing is missing or whatever. No one knows where that thing is. Amber Koshial says Kash is telling the public what they need to in order to bring the truth to light. Right. By telling us a bunch of shit that don't add up. Right. Absolutely. So, at the end of the day, these people, they're coming out, they're telling you, right? They're telling you what happened to Charlie Kirk, and they're using these experts to do so. Their experts are supposed to be better than the experts people with opposing views or opposing ideas have, because there are people out there that brought their own experts into the picture as well. But what they like to do is play these games where they're saying, oh, I have a mortician who explains the autopsy. She ain't got the fucking autopsy. How is she explaining something she doesn't have? She has not seen the autopsy. No one has seen the autopsy. They have not released the autopsy. They haven't done that. They haven't done any of that. They haven't released a ballistics report. None of it. We don't have a ballistics report or an autopsy. But they're telling you that they have experts to explain shit that they don't have any access to. Just like Brandon Tatum told you, he gave you this whole roundabout way to tell you that maybe possibly not so sure about this letter that they released that they said came from Charlie Kirk. But he's telling you that people that know better than him says that it might be possibly the letter that Charlie Kirk sent. Well, just tell us you don't fucking know if that's Charlie Kirk that wrote that letter. Why can't people just do that? No, I have no idea if Charlie Kirk wrote that letter. But in order to push the narrative they want to push, they will tell you roundabout shit and not get to the point. SB wants me to be gay because he's gay and he finds me attractive. I'm not gay, but if you are, it's all good. Go ahead and you come out the closet. I'm not going to be there for you, but somebody will. It just won't be me. Great distraction from the Epstein file. If that's true, then yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. But guess what? I'm not going to let up on the Epstein files because Kash Patel is trying to tell us, as well as Pam Bondi, is that there is no information in those files that will point to any prosecutorial evidence of anybody else involved. They're saying, that we don't have anything in there that could, we could use to prosecute anybody. Then why aren't you showing it? Release the files then. Go ahead and release them, right? But they won't do it. According to your search history, You're obsessed with gay men and trans women, but sure. Man, y'all go talk to somebody about y'all hangups, okay? Go talk to somebody. Just because I'm a good looking guy, right? Just because of that, that does not, you know what I mean? Hey, but you do you. You go find you somebody. Go ahead and take your identity and listen, it's okay. There are people you can talk to, okay? It's okay. Wisdom's daughter says, hello, handsome, good morning. Good morning, Wisdom's daughter. See, I love when the women come in here and they just come right out and say what they feel. But y'all have to accuse me of being gay because you find me attractive. Okay, well, I mean, listen. Millions of people watch the assassination, but you need to see an autopsy. Thomas Colbert. You know there's a reason they do autopsies when shit like that happens? Yes, I love when women come. Absolutely. It's the best thing ever. Anyway. Crystal Harker says you do not give gay vibes at all. Who the hell said that? They say that every time I do a live stream. They say it every time I do a live stream. They say that shit. It is what it is. They just find me attractive. It's okay. But I appreciate you, Crystal Harker, for asking that question. Salute to Sheila Davidson in the building. You need to see the autopsy to know what round was used. The trajectory. Right? You need to know, like, where the bullet entered, where it exited. Did it not exit? What happened here? Anarchy Television, I don't know, man. They get mesmerized by something. I have no idea. Salute to B. Morris. I appreciate you for subbing. Chris D. It's always the dudes that accuse me of being gay. It's always the dudes. And then the women, they just tell me I'm attractive and that I'm handsome. I mean, it is what it is. It's always the dudes that accuse me of being gay, but the ladies never do it. The ladies never do it. So it's okay. The autopsy is important. There's a reason they do autopsies. It doesn't matter if the world saw the assassination. I need to see more than the assassination. I need to know exactly what the ballistics report says. I need to know what the autopsy says. Octologic Smith says they're doing wishful thinking. Yeah, exactly. You know what, Rui JHE, we might need to delete our social media accounts. You might be right about that, right? Because social credit is coming. Digital ID is coming. We have to get ourselves in a position where we don't need none of that shit. And this is what I push, guys. I push self-sufficiency, independence, sovereignty of self, right? The less you have to depend on this system, the less bullshit you need to rely on the system, to use the system. We got to get away from this shit. Carmel Dream says his wife bragged about how much content they have without him. It's crazy, right? Yeah, Erica Kirk is something else. America Patriot says because I'm half and half. That's not even true. I'm not half and half. Half and half of what? If you're saying I'm half black, half white, that's false. That is incorrect. Deronda Williams says, very handsome, love those eyes. I appreciate you, Deronda. I appreciate you. SB, I don't think you're gay. I just want to be a man about it. Huh? Okay. No, they can't, Carmel Dreams. They can't stop talking about it. Conspiracy Queen in the building. Salute to you, Queen. This would be a case of habeas corpus. Well, you know that Donald Trump wants to suspend habeas corpus to detain people indefinitely, right? Because that's what what's the name did. What's the name did that? Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus so that he could detain people that were going against him, right? That were speaking out against him and resisting his whatever he was doing. Cheryl Studevant says Snake Eyes starring Nicolas Cage. Don't believe what your eyes see. Yeah. I believe Erica Kirk is suspect, but I mean, I don't know. I don't have enough. See, it's just so much. It's so much bullshit floating around. It's so much different information they're giving us that points away from the FBI narrative, but at the same time, they're trying to back up the FBI narrative. They want you to believe what the FBI is telling you, but then it's like, okay, we'll come out and say little shit about Charlie Kirk in Israel, like COVID, his friend COVID. Like, Turning Point USA is playing some wild games here. Trucking with Joker says he dropped his $10 super chat. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for donating to the channel. I believe it was a 38 caliber for someone in the front row. Tyler Robinson will never make it to court to testify. Utah has a law that prohibits the release of autopsies. Oh, they do? I didn't know that. See, that's information I didn't know. Information I didn't know. And Trucking with Joker, thinks that Charlie Kirk was indeed shot from the front, shot in the front of the neck with 38, and from someone in the front row. I mean, he has a right to believe that. I believe otherwise based on what I saw in videos. Dolores, salute to the beautiful Dolores Sablon. What age am I? I'm 45. I'm 45. Conspiracy Queen, you funny. Why is she posting videos of her holding Charlie Kirk's dead hands? I don't, I don't know, man. I can't speak. Erica Kirk is a wild one to me. That's a wild card. Erica Kirk is a wild card. A lot of shit going on with her in her past, and I didn't even know she was an actress before, and that she was on The Bachelor. I didn't know none of this shit. Like, how old is this chick? How old is is Erica Kirk? Apache Tomcat says spewing left propaganda loser. Who you talking about? Is someone in the chat spewing left propaganda? I mean, Roman of Always Not Forever says, why would that be a rule or law? What's wrong with being able to see the autopsy? I have no idea. I don't know. But if that's a law, I mean, that just, if it's a law in Utah to not release the autopsy to the public, that's just going to create more problems with the public, right? There's gonna, because I don't think they anticipated that this many people would care about Charlie Kirk's death. You know, the why, the who, the motivation, does the narrative. I don't think they anticipated that. I think that they thought we would just roll with whatever. I think they thought because, well, Charlie Kirk, so many people believe he's a racist and anti-left and anti-this and anti-that. No one's going to give a shit. And then the only people that are going to give a shit are the people on the right. And they already, people are just going to dismiss that because, well, they're on the right. But now you got all manner of people questioning the narrative. You got people on the left. You got people on the right. You got people like me, who I'm not left or right. I'm an anarchist / voluntarist. That's what I am. So people on both sides are calling bullshit. I don't think they anticipated that. Columbus Brooks says, we care about Malcolm. Salute to you. They didn't even need to roll with it. Yeah, they didn't think we'd roll with it. Yeah, they did. I think they thought that we would roll with it. That's why they were so lazy with the narrative. They was like, anarchist. Why shouldn't I say anarchist? Why should I say that? I'm not a fencer at all. I just don't believe in this left-right paradigm bullshit that you guys believe in. That's not me. That does not mean I sit on the fence. No. I'm not nowhere near the fence. I'm on the outside. Y'all are on one side of the fence, and then you got your fence in. I'm over here on the mountaintop looking down at y'all with some binoculars saying, man, they are all in a cage, divided by a fence, and Yeah. And they exist within the panopticon of the United States government that I have to somehow convince these people that they are caged and chained. That's what that's where I'm at. They want to blame trans, yeah, because it's convenient. Anarchy and Anarchy Television says anarchy and communism are opposites. Yes, they are. Kalinda Twine says, could Charlie be the GOAT for a bigger something and the wrong took him out? Who knows? We just need information and facts to make these determinations. Like, give us the evidence. Do y'all know an autopsy? The autopsy, really, look, put the autopsy out there, put the ballistics report out. That would go a long way to resolving the issues we're having. Because what we have going on right now because of Charlie Kirk's death is we have more uncertainty in government. There's more uncertainty amongst the proletariat class. There's so much uncertainty about government that this is a very important time to bring all this shit to light. It's very important. DARPA level drones killed Charlie Kirk. There is less belief in government than ever before. It was already there before Charlie Kirk was killed, but now that Charlie Kirk was killed and so many people care about the why and the how and the who, and they're calling out the bullshit, doesn't matter what side they're on, we are getting closer to the final realization. We just need those pushes in the right direction. Do you believe that those text messages from his trans partner is real? Absolutely not. No. Andrew Soto Jr. says, I have the video of the lapel mic. Okay. If you got the video of the lapel mic, you can send that to my email address. I got a whole new email address, and the email address is easier to remember. When I try to give y'all my other email address, for some reason, it doesn't work. This one is very simple. freedomsmarch80@gmail.com. So if my mods could please drop a link in the chat for my email address. freedomsmarch80@gmail.com. Simple and plain. Y'all can send whatever correspondence y'all want to, freedoms with an S. FREEDOMS March, MARCH 80, the number 80 at gmail.com. Son of Man says, so no point to give you evidence because you live in denial anyway. No, 80, Andrew Soto. Yes. Why we talking about live in denial? I'm going to deny. What denial of what? What am I denying? No, I love evidence. If I see evidence that proves one thing or another, I'm rolling with that. How is that denial? What denial of what? If I can see that, they don't have nothing. Yes, Henry Dar. He says, bro, united we stand, divided we fall. The 1% don't want the tribe to be united. No, they don't. And this is what I'm trying to help us get to. Because it doesn't matter if you left or right. These people, it matters to them, because if there is this division amongst the proletariat class, the non-elite class, then we are distracted going against each other when we don't really hold the power, right? They hold the power up at the top. And to maintain that power, they have to direct the ire and the anger and the frustrations. They have to point that towards each other. Like we don't have any control over this shit. The people at the top do. The corporations, the bankers, the special interest groups that form the fourth branch of the government, and then you got the media that form the fifth branch of the government. They tell you there are 3 branches. No, there are 5 branches. Right? They're supposed to be a division of powers, right? Separation of powers between the judicial branch, the legislative branch, and the executive branch. But the ultimate power is supposed to lie with the people. The people should have the ultimate power. We just allow, right, the government to operate on our behalf. That's how it's supposed to work. The government is supposed to act on our behalf, but they don't, right? They dictate what we do, but they work for us. Imagine that. We pay their salaries. We pay for the building they work in. We pay for their goddamn health care. We pay for their goddamn trips. We pay for their food. We pay for their housing. Yet they tell us how we're supposed to live. And if we don't, they're going to send jackbooted thugs to your house. No, they're supposed to work for fucking us. You know, in the Constitution, it talks about the consent of the governed. Well, in order for us to be governed, we have to give our consent. What does that mean? That means that we can remove our consent to be governed. Right? There are systems and structures in place for us to do just that, but we don't exercise it. There are laws against government overreach that can be used to lock these motherfuckers up when they violate your rights. Two that I can name is 18 U.S. Code 241 and 18 U.S. Code 242. And before I get out of here, I'm going to break those down to what those are. 18 U.S. Code, and shout out to High Impact Flicks for bringing this to my light, to bring this to light. 18 U.S.C. 241. Guess what? If Donald Trump was about that life, if he really wanted to work for the people, he could use these. He can use these laws to lock all these motherfuckers up. Why do you think certain mobs do so well? Well, because they do what our government does, right? They force people to pay them for protection and whatnot, and they extort them. Are we to trust the autopsy report? I have no idea. I haven't seen the autopsy report. That's why we have elections. Yeah, we have elections every 2 years. And we're in a great position, aren't we? What are we talking about? We already vote. We already have elections. You're acting like we aren't using elections right now. We're using elections. The elections aren't doing anything to benefit us at all whatsoever. How are the elections helping? Anyway, so 18 U.S. Code 241. Now, 18 U.S. Code 241. Let's look at this. What this talks about. Conspiracy against rights of citizens. Right? That's what it is. This is a U.S. code. U.S. Code, 18 U.S. Code 241. Conspiracy against rights. Right? So look, what does it say? If two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise, or enjoyment of any right or privilege. Yeah. This law protects privilege as well. You know how they tell you, well, it's a privilege, not a right. You don't have a right to privileges. Well, guess what? This says you do. Now, secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his exercise the same, or if two or more persons in disguise on the highway, like, cops, or on the premises of another, with intent to prevent, hinder, or hinder his free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege so secured, they shall be fined under this title for or imprisonment not more than 10 years or both. 10 years. They can get up to 10 years in prison for conspiring against your rights. This is something that can be used to get these motherfuckers in line. Right? Now, they can get up to 10 years or both and be fined. And if death results from the act committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping, right? False arrest, when they arrest you, they violate your rights. They create laws that violate your rights. And then you get arrested for that. It says aggravated assault, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse or an attempt to kill, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years, or for life, or for both, or may be sentenced to. So these politicians, these legislators that create laws that violate your rights, that is conspiracy against your rights. And they can be fined and imprisoned for up to 10 years. But if the acts include kidnapping, sexual abuse, death, or the commit to kill, guess what? They can get life imprisonment, or they can be sentenced to death. 18 U.S. Code 241. Someone says the law is just lip service. Well, then that can be said about every law that they create to violate your rights. So if this law is lip service, and we want to treat this law like lip service, then we should treat the laws that they create to violate us as lip service. Should we not? Now let's look at 18 U.S. Code 242 before I get out of here and finish my workout. Jason Burke says this black man is more white than Donald Trump, and now he's spamming, and so I got to get him out of here. No spamming. How can you send the Kirk video? I told you, freedomsmarch80@gmail.com. Email it to me. Fresh Cut Lawn says, you make sense. There's not enough people willing to fight a system. I understand what you're saying. Just don't want you to overthink how simple this actually is. Well, that's why I do what I do, right? This is why I come to you guys. This is why I speak to you guys. This is why I bring you this information so that we can understand there are more options than just two. There are more options than left or right. We have the ability as the people that give consent to be governed to remove our consent. It's the government for the people, by the people, of the people, right? Well, they have hijacked our government. The bankers, the special interest groups, and the corporations have hijacked our government, and our government can not possibly work for us. Our government cannot possibly represent us. And so, therefore, we have avenues to correct it. Bottom line. But they don't want you to believe that. They think they want to tell you, oh, well, just go vote. Let's just replace. Well, we'll put good people in place. Yeah, those good people, yeah, we can rely on them to change the system that has been established and entrenched for over 200 years. One election at a time, we're going to replace all the bad guys with the good guys. That doesn't work at all. You have to make an example, not do the same thing over and over again, expecting different fucking results. Anyway, let's look up 18 U.S. Code 242. All right. Now this one, 18 U.S. Code 242. Deprivation of rights under the color of what? Law. Under the color of law. You know, like when they use law to violate your rights? Well, they're violating this code. You know what that means? I'll tell you what it means. So what does that mean? Whoever under the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights. I'm going to enlarge this. Privileges. Because you know they tell you, oh, well, owning a car and driving is a privilege. So that doesn't... You tell them to shut the fuck up. Because guess what? Your privileges are protected. Just like your fucking rights. Guess what? You have the right to enjoy your privileges. Anyway. Or immunity secured or protected by the Constitution or laws in the United States, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties on account of such person being an alien, or by reason of his color or race, then are prescribed for punishment of citizens, right? Shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year or both. So just for violating your rights, guess what? They can get up to a year and they can get fined. All right. Now, it goes on to say, and if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosive, or fire, shall be fined under this title, and if not, title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. So up to 10 years if it results in a bodily injury. And the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon. You can get fined for 10 years. So that means a pig that does this to you under the color of law, right? Because they use the law as a shield to commit atrocities against you. They should be fined for up to 10 years. You ever hear a cop say, I'm going to kill your ass, I'm going to shoot your ass? Guess what? They have violated this law and they should be imprisoned. Right? Goes on to say, results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts includes kidnapping, like, you know, when you get arrested, when they arrest you under the color of law because this law dictated that you had to do a certain thing that you didn't do, and so they're going to lock your ass up. That's kidnapping. Yeah, it's kidnapping. Or attempt to kidnap. Aggravated sexual abuse or any attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse or an attempt to kill shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life or both, or may be what? Sentenced to death. Sentenced to death. You have two avenues using their system, right? You know how they tell you that? Oh, you got to use the system. You got to vote. You got to do this. You got to do that. Okay. Well, you don't need to vote to enforce this. You see, because Donald Trump, who's supposed to be this guy that's supposed to clean the swamp, he's supposed to save the country. He's supposed to make America great again because he's fighting against a shadow government. Well, he has two avenues at which to do it, through which to do it. He has 18 U.S. Code 241. Okay. Well, he can start locking up legislators that have created laws that violate your rights. Okay, you got one avenue right there. Okay, so another one, the enforcers that he controlled because he is the leader of the executive branch. All law enforcement falls under the executive branch as well as the military. Guess what he can do? He can use 18 U.S. Code 242 to have anybody arrested that has violated this, that has violated your rights under the color of law, under the color of man-made laws. He can make an example. He can start having these people executed. So that's what you got. You see? But guess what? He's not going to do that. Michael Stern says, I can arrest you. Go ahead and try, pimpin'. Go ahead and try. Make sure you bring a pine box with you. Make sure it's nice and fitted for you. Go ahead. Mia V says, how do y'all not get overwhelmed with all this political drama in manufactured division? I don't know how they don't get tired of it, man. But you know, people love a good drama, right? Whatever happened to citizens arrest? Nothing. You're just not encouraged to use it because, well, let's say you perform a citizen's arrest and a cop can show up and kill you. After you didn't stop somebody from killing somebody else, you know, like that black dude, that black soldier that was on leave, that came back from overseas and was in the mall and stopped the mass shooting, but he was killed by the popo. Yeah, like that. What laws are you referring to violated your rights? That'd be a whole nother live stream. But you know what? I'm going to do that just for y'all. I'm going to outline the laws that they have created that violate your rights. And if I show you that, then I charge you with joining me and putting out a petition to have every legislator that participated in the creation of these laws arrested. Are you willing to do that? If I show you which laws violate your rights? Can we agree on that? What was it? Can we agree? Y'all want to see laws? Y'all want me to show y'all laws that violate your rights? Well, it'll be easier to show you laws that don't violate. It'll be easier to show you laws that don't violate your rights. No, it'll be actually be harder. There'll be less laws out there that I can show you that don't violate your rights. Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. I can show you not all of them, because there's so many laws that they have created to convince y'all that, you know, y'all need to operate under this system. And if you violate their little laws, then, oh, you're a bad person. So, you want me to show you legislation that violates your rights? All right, then let's take that a step further. Once I do that, we need to start a movement to have these people arrested for violating your rights by creating these laws through conspiracy. And then we can get that cracking. Color of law means state law. No, it doesn't. This is 18 U.S. code. This is not a state code. U.S. code. And what does this say? See, no, you're wrong. You're saying color of law means state law. It does not. I clearly state. It clearly states. Whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district. It covers all that. Any state, not just one state. So that means this is a federal law that covers the entire country. So it doesn't just apply to state laws, it applies to all laws. Right? It's just telling you if anybody in any state, territory, commonwealth, they're telling you that this covers every state. Right? That if someone violates your law, violates your rights in any state, yeah, under the color of law. It doesn't say state law, any law it says. Any law. Willfully subjects any person in any state. So any person in any state, any law. It doesn't specify a state law. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because that law is this code is here for a reason. This code is here for a reason. It's in place for a reason. It's just not being used properly. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here. There's always a loophole. I don't see a loophole there, but I'm not a lawyer. Dylan Smithy is right. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know how to read and comprehend. I do know how to read and comprehend. I don't need to be a lawyer to know how to read and comprehend what I'm reading. It is what it is. State mean Lord help the foolish. There's supposed to be a separation between state and federal. Well, have you heard of the supremacy clause in the Constitution? Have you heard of interstate commerce laws? Yeah, because the federal government has supremacy over states, right? Even though it talks about states' rights in the 10th Amendment, well, you still got that pesky supremacy clause that says that the federal government has supremacy over the state laws. You got that pesky supremacy clause. Lavia Owen says, just walked in. What code is it? What's the code? 18 U.S. Code 241 and 18 U.S. Code 242. Clearly outlines how your Donald Trump can, if he was really for the people, he could use those to start making examples of anybody that violates people's rights, but he's not going to do it. I'm in the ballpark just playing the wrong game. Okay. It is what it is. No one does anything all the way right. No one is perfect. Right? I'm not trying to be. I'm just giving you guys a different look. I'm trying to show you guys a different path and avenue to get what I believe we should achieve, which is freedom first and foremost, individual sovereignty first and foremost, and then you build from there through voluntarism, pure voluntarism, not this fake bullshit that Charlie Kirk said was voluntarism and didn't really actually believe in it. Stephen Long says that's because he is the one violating the rights. Why would he punish himself? Great question. Bada boom, bada bing. That's a great question, M. Penn. Next time a cop tries to arrest me, I'm going to ask him, is he trying to kidnap me? That would be a great question. Who doesn't have freedom in America? No one. Everybody. No one has freedom in America. You have to understand what freedom is. I respect your opinion and what you're saying, just using parts of the law you want. It's all about context. What parts of the law did I leave out? What part of the law did I leave out? I didn't leave anything out. I didn't leave nothing out. I read the whole thing, pretty much. What context do you need? What are you talking about? I read the whole thing. This is the law. What are you talking about? Title 4, Section 110. Title 4. Okay. So I put in Title 4, Section 110. Now, just so you know, this is Title 18, right? This is Title 18. So is the title you're referring to, is that some other U.S. code? Because I'm talking about this code right here. This is Title 18. U.S. code, this is 18. This is Title 18. Part 1, Chapter 13. So you're talking about a whole different code. What code does that come from? Because 18 U.S. Code 241 and 242, well, the title is 18. I'm reading you the entire code. What more context do you need? It tells you what deprivation of rights is, and it tells you what the punishments are, and it tells you under the color of law. I'm not leaving out any context. Bro, is just a U.S. code. So what? So what? So what? Just like the laws they create in the legislature, they're just laws. They're just man-made laws that a bunch of guys got together and said that you had to follow. So we're expected to follow their laws because that you believe that they have some type of that you think that they're better than you. Is that what you believe? But they're not supposed to follow the laws that are in place for everybody to follow. So when it comes to laws that they violate, oh, well, those are just, it's just a code. Well, the same can be said for the laws they create. So should we just ignore those laws and just say, fuck your laws because, well, they're just laws? Oh, those are just laws. USC are all interrelated under U.S. Constitution, Article 4, Section 3. Yeah. So anyway, y'all have a good day. I'm going to get on out of here. Yes, absolute power corrupts absolutely. If y'all, listen, y'all can email me at freedomsmarch80, the number 80, at gmail.com. If you guys want to share any correspondence or anything with me, you guys can do it there, freedomsmarch80 at gmail.com. Holla at your boy. But you guys stay up. You guys keep your head on the swivel. Stay safe out there. Make sure you exercise your rights to keep and bear arms, to keep yourself safe as possible, right? Because there is no 100% foolproof plan to defend yourself, but you want to give yourself the best chance possible, right? So anyway, y'all stay up. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and y'all keep marching forward toward freedom and truth. Peace.